You could beat him up in an alley, and all he could defend himself with is a lid of a trash can. You could stab him and inject him with all kinds of super serums. You could send him through space and time. You could freeze him, lock him up frozen in the ice. But nothing holds back our MVP from last month's issue. We're talking about Steve Rogers, the original Captain America. Can he do it again? Let's find out. Welcome back to another Avengers versus Justice League. That means it's time for me and this guy.
What's going on?
Magic Lasso, the recipient of the newest 1,000 subscriber club.
My first appearance. Card. My first appearance since becoming
this guy.
A channel with 1,000 subscribers.
Is that why you got the collared shirt on tonight? You're really stepping it up.
You know it. And seriously, thank you to everyone that subscribed. You no longer have to hear me begging and pleading and cajoling and any of that. And yes, there will be a party with prize giveaways. That stuff is just starting to get worked on right now.
Yay. But congrats to you. For those that don't know, Magic Lasso, the YouTube channel, and the celebrity here, 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations. His link is down below, so you will continue to hear me telling you to go and subscribe and follow, because this show, Avengers versus Justice League, goes back and forth each month. Next month will be over for issue 19 on his channel. And if you want to follow all the excitement, you got to make sure that you're double subscribed.
Absolutely.
Welcome in. For those that are new to this program, This is the Silver Age comic book team breakdown show. We're going issue by issue from issue 1 now all the way to issue 18 of Avengers and Justice League of America, the original series. And we're comparing covers. We're comparing interior artwork. We're comparing stories, and we're comparing most important characters in those books to try to decide, as a duo and with you in the chat supporting us, which book is better? Which is the more entertaining book? Which book would you want to pick up and read again? Which is the better comic book? It's not about speculation. It's not about the value of these books. It's about the fun of Silver Age comic book reading. And it's been a real blast. I appreciate you you going along with this ride.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Tonight we have about 2 years age difference between these books. So we're looking at 1963 and 1965. But Justice League of America was only published 10 times a year at this time, where Avengers was published monthly. So eventually, in the course of our omnibus that you're on right now, they will catch up, and eventually Avengers will lead.
Okay.
So we're already narrowing the gap.
Have you looked ahead to see when this will happen?
I have not yet, but I mean, we're narrowing the gap. We're like 2 years and 1 month apart right now. So
all right. Little by little, the gap is closing. But let's check in with Earth's mightiest chatters, those friends that are here hanging out watching tonight. I appreciate all of you. And I got to highlight my friend Matt from Impressed Comics. He upped his membership to a new plateau. He is now officially a member of the New Comic Book Day Coalition. So a huge thank you for doing that, Matt. I appreciate you, man. And I'm going to play a little hula dance for you, man. We appreciate that, Matt. I appreciate it in a big, big way. We've also got White Tiger Ruben Guzman in the chat. Ruben contributed some books to the C3 event I am doing on Saturday morning, Comics Curing Cancer. So thank you, Ruben, for those books that are part of the big giveaways that'll be on my prize wheel on Saturday morning.
Awesome.
We've also got JP Fawn in the chat. Avengers Assemble, he says. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yes, that was his idea. On my channel, it's Earth's Mightiest Chatters. On his channel, it's the roll call. They're doing the chat roll call over there. If I can just remember to say it right, I tend to get a little tongue-tied. So tonight we're talking about issue 18 of Avengers and Justice League of America. Let's hear a little bit about how you got your book. Where did you get your copy of Justice League 18?
My copy, and I'll hold this up more when we start doing the covers and go about it, but my copy of Justice League 18 came into my collection within the last 6 months. So for those that don't know, I set a 3-year goal at the beginning of last year because I had 36 issues of Justice League that I needed to wrap up the entire collection. And I figured, that's essentially one a month, which seemed like a doable goal, even though I knew that more than likely you get 2 or 3 at once and then you don't get any for 3 or 4 months. And then you get 2 or 3 again at once. Yeah.
There's a little feast or famine.
Well, to fast forward, where I'm at with this goal right now is since our last show, I've wiped the floor with it. I have all the issues of Justice League Volume 1 right now. I don't have the Brave and the Bold 3-issue prelude, but I have Justice League number 1 through 261, every single issue. This came into my collection, like I said, about 6 months ago, and I purchased this from Comic Fu 2814. He and I were chatting, and he was saying, I'm looking to slim down a little bit parts of my collection. And I knew he had Silver Age Justice League in his collection. I said, you getting rid of any Justice League? He's like, what issues do you need? So I sent him the list at that time of what I needed, and he had 3 of the issues that I needed. So we struck a deal, and that's how that one came into my collection.
Awesome. I will say my story is not nearly as exciting because I legitimately can't remember how I got this copy of issue 18. This was probably in the stretch where I was just watching for early Avengers issues. So issue 8, I saw on issue 18, I probably needed and I bought it, but I didn't write any notes down. It's a very nice looking copy. Like I don't see a lot of spine damage or anything like that. It might be one of the nicest of the first 25 that I've got. The quality looking very strong there. Rob Boswell's in the chat. What is going on?
What's up, Rob? Is he at Dollywood?
I don't know. I'm assuming. Okay. I mean, that's just the norm.
Default.
Right? But yes, this was one that I got. I'm sure it was a little bit later when I started expanding out of the top 10 into the top 20 to kind of be like, oh, well, I've got issue 20, so why not just get any in between? And I was just sort of watching for issues. But yeah, super clean copy. Even the top of the black is not looking very flawed at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, very, very good looking copy. So yeah, as a reminder, we're going to go piece by piece through these books and starting off with the cover. And since I'm on the big screen, we'll do the Avengers cover first.
Do it.
What are your thoughts here on this cover for Avengers?
Well, I like that it's not as wordy as what they have done on the past.
Right.
I kind of like where they put Captain America, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch almost looks like a movie marquee to me.
Right.
And that doesn't bother me at all. I think they got all the characters in with action going on. You understand, by looking at this cover, I think you understand what you're going to get in the book. And that's something that I really appreciate from this era is these are covers. It's not like modern.
No.
What you see on the cover, you usually get that cover represented in a panel somewhere.
For sure.
And I like this cover. I think it's fun.
Totally agree. It's the limited amount of writing. It's the writing that blends in a nice way. It fits where it needs to happen in a quality way. The characters are all given a lot of action to do, except maybe Scarlet Witch, but she's in peril. I'll count it. The background has a lot of detail to it. The color scheme is very strong and it allows the action to pop. I was on the phone with you when I pulled it out of the short boxes last night, and I was like kind of hyped on it. Like I was like, oh, this is a fun cover. The energy is exciting and it works for me. Plus, I like you have the red, white, and blue going on up here. It's marquee, as you called it, and the yellow Avengers logo. So yeah, all working for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good cover. It's fun.
We got Dio Wolf in the chat. What is going on, my friend? Happy, what are we on? Wednesday. All right, let's take a look at that Justice League cover.
So the Justice League cover, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Somebody's got a foot fetish. That's my original thought. No, I did joke with you. I was like, there's a lot of foot on this cover.
Yes.
I thought, here's what I thought. The hero characters look really interesting and dynamic. The action of what they're doing. The background is just a big blob of yellow, and the feet are a little bit too much the focus for me. It does fit the story perfectly. In fact, it's almost lifted straight from one of the panels in the book. So in that regard, it's incredibly true to form, true to the book, true to the story. But something about it just falls really flat for me.
So for me, when I look at this, I don't think that you look and realize that that's the Atom's feet. It almost looks like, at first thought, a Superman's feet, even though it's not colored right. The colors are reversed, and you don't see Superman anywhere else on the cover. I just don't think that you associate right away that is Atom. Especially, you almost might think that it's a giant, but as you read the story, you understand this cover does make sense when you read the story. I just don't think that you tie. I just don't know. It's an all right cover. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just all right.
I got a hint that it might have been the Atom just but because of the colors, like you're saying. But then I read the little bubble by Aquaman there, and obviously it says we can't reach him. He won't hear us. So if you read it, obviously they clarify that a little bit for you. But to your point, it's the inverse of the system that we usually see, with the Atom being the smallest and the team being much bigger. That system is flipped here on this cover.
I really do like something on this cover, though, and that's Green Lantern's SOS.
Yes.
So help.
There's a lot of dynamic energy to each one of them, whether it's Martian Manhunter like pulling on his knee, the Flash running up his leg, Wonder Woman's lasso, or Green Arrow's arrow. There's a lot of kind of fun dynamic energy to it. That's the part I liked the most, is those characters.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, let's.
So
I'm going to drop the starting line.
Yeah, who's got the better cover, ladies and gentlemen, out of these two books?
Chat, you decide. You let us know which is the better cover. Of course, this is a very chat interactive show. You guys are the ones that help decide the final results. Justice League is waxing the floor with the Avengers at this point. They're really dominating. So keep it up. If you feel strongly that that's the better cover, you let us know. I'm voting Avengers this week. I like the cover better. It works better for me. What about you?
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go with Avengers this week. So
okay. So the panel is at least united in what we're saying. Color schemes are very similar. There's a lot of yellow, red, blue going on these covers. The color schemes seem to be very primary in the color schemes as far as what's going on. But for me, I just feel like, again, the limited writing, the functional writing on this one really works for me. In fact, I would argue that they almost have the same amount of writing at this point, which is a rarity, at least as far as what we've been reading in these first few issues.
Yes.
All right. So JP Fawn, he is in agreement. He said not a fan of the early Avengers covers, but he's going with Earth's Mightiest on this one.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And I don't know that I've looked at the back cover to see the ads in this particular issue, but I always find those kinds of fun. Any other thoughts on these covers here?
No, not really. I mean, they both do the job. It's just, I like the Avengers one better this time.
Fair enough. All righty. So that brings us to, looks like everybody's in agreement on that last one, but we're going to move over to part 2, and part 2 is story. We're going to go through, and even if you've never read these, we're going to try to inform you of the plot as best as we can, give you a sort of sense of what's going on in these books. And then when we're done with both, we'll chat up our feelings on which might have been a superior story, and you can let us know your comments as we go along. Since I got you in the big spot, why don't you hold up the Avengers and I will go and tell that story here. So let me do this again. There we go. So yes, this is Avengers 18, When the Commissar Commands. And it also asks the question, is this book racist? we're gonna have a lot of questions when we get to the end of this one, folks. So we get our little reveal preview page. The splash page shows this villain, the Commissar, and it says his mission is to prove that the Reds, communists, are superior to freedom's champions. His method, defeat an American fighting team by any and all means, and his madness is selecting the Avengers as his team to defeat. So yeah, you get him sort of knocking Hawkeye around while everybody watches in the back, which, reading this issue, you might feel that's a good call. But we start with the brooding Captain America sitting alone at a dining table with lit candles. He's got 4 candles at the dining table lit, but he's brooding. He misses the days when he was a soldier, when he had command, and he's not feeling like the role he's fulfilling with the Avengers is giving him everything that he wanted. And so there's a lot of sadness and thoughts. Deep things are happening for him. And so he looks out at the world and just kind of feels like this is not necessarily where I want to be. And he's waiting for Nick Fury to get back to him in general. We've also got some new team members, specifically the brother-sister team of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, trying to decide what to do with a night out on the town. And they both have a very distinct plan and have bought tickets, but for different things. He wants to go to the circus. She wants to go to the theater. And so off they go, not together, although, it does look like he is sitting with somebody. So I don't know who he's sitting with his other ticket. So he is watching the trapeze artists and enjoying the thrill of the trapeze. But when an accident happens and one of them falls, he uses his ability to quickly create a net to rescue the person. And, he doesn't take any bows or anything. He acts like it was just, a natural event. Meanwhile, we've got Hawkeye being Hawkeye, testing out some new arrows. This one seems to be like a magnetic arrow that would allow him to lift somehow a safe and destroy the roof of a building. And he says, oh, I'll pay for that and solve that later. Doesn't really come into play, but he's working on it. Then we jump to this puppet nation, this communist-ruled nation called Sin Kong. We're going to really just not get into the racism aspect of this, but we do have this argument happening among the citizenry, and you've got this tiny little man telling them that how you should be grateful that we have the commissar, this powerful leader here taking care of us in this communist nation. And the commissar picks up a giant boulder and hurls it to show his strength. And he smashes rocks and picks up peasants and makes them all basically worship him. It is it's an interesting look at communism, is what I'm going to say. I don't know that I've seen this particular brand, but there it is. Then we go back to Avengers HQ, and Captain America gets a distress signal from apparently a rebel group inside of Sin Kong looking for support. And he decides, my job is to go to this nation and free them from the awful rule of this commissar. He's also hoping that somehow this will help connect him to Nick Fury again, but I don't know about that. Meanwhile, we realize it's a trap because it cuts to the commissar and his henchman guy, and the two of them are clearly setting this up as a way to get the Avengers to come there so they can defeat them. We cut to the Avengers being called into action, and they show up, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Captain America, to hear the instructions. And right away, Hawkeye's not really having it. He's like, wait a second. Aren't we taking care of the U.S.? Why are we traveling around the world to defeat these other nations? What's the logic here? And Captain America says, well, let me spell it out for you. We're supposed to avenge injustice, right? Well, when the liberties are being threatened, justice goes down the drain, and that's it in a nutshell. So he's really planning to be the world's police at this point, and he cons them all into joining him. So they all fly down to this country in Central Asia called Sin Kong, and when they land, they're escorted from their plane to the commissar, and they're basically taking all their weapons away. Although Cap keeps his shield and Hawkeye keeps the bow, but no arrows. So they go in to meet the commissar, and the second they do, the room they're in starts closing down, doors and slamming down, keep locking them in. But somehow Hawkeye snuck an arrow that'll blow up a hole in the wall, and he does it, and the Avengers launch into battle against these goons. Cap is doing his best, but a couple get the drop on him. Scarlet Witch uses her abilities to basically hex the guns and make them defective, but that doesn't work against a bazooka. Apparently the bazooka still going strong, and they blast at him, and he jumps out of the way just in time. Meanwhile, Quicksilver's bonking everybody as quickly as he can and zipping in and around the room. Let's see. On the next page, it looks like the team has done pretty well until the floor opens up and Scarlet Witch falls into a trap and vanishes. But Quicksilver can hear her screaming down the hall, so he runs off to go and take care and rescue her. Meanwhile, the rest of the team has to catch up, and when they do, he's found her tied up and blindfolded. But Hawkeye has yet another arrow secreted away, and he basically uses this arrow to blast or weld a hole in the bars that are keeping her in. But while they're doing that, a gas is secretly being released, and they all are basically falling to passing out. But Captain America says, "It's sleeping gas. Hold your breaths. This will keep us from passing out too much." And when the commissar comes in, most of the team is not completely unconscious. They're just a little groggy, and they have to decide how to fight the commissar. The commissar says, "Well, I'll let her out, but you have to fight me 1-on-1, each of you one at a time. And I've got witnesses across the town. I want them to see that I can destroy you." Captain America goes first after Commissar makes a change into his Greco-Roman gear, wrestling style. And Captain America starts fighting him, but is noticing that he's feeling a little bit slow. He's unable to keep up, and the Commissar is winning. The Commissar is capturing him and choking the life out of him a little bit. That's that page right there. You can kind of see this bear of a Commissar character defeating them somewhat easily. Next up, it's Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is throwing some arrows at him, but every arrow seems to get deflected by the sword that the Commissar is keeping, and he can't figure out why his arrows aren't hitting the mark. But then he gets grabbed, of course, just like Cap, and kind of knocked unconscious, which leaves just Quicksilver, who runs in and basically starts using a tapestry to kind of wrap up the Commissar. And while doing so, everybody's like, oh, maybe he's actually going to win. No. Commissar grabs the end of the tapestry and basically pulls Quicksilver close enough to kind of knock him to the ground. And he is announcing his success when Captain America says, wait, you defeated us. But if you're going to defeat all of us, you got to defeat her too. And he points to Scarlet Witch as like the last remaining member who hasn't been defeated. So he lets her out, and she decides that she's going to take her turn. And in doing so, she reveals the Wizard of Oz truth, which is that the Commissar is a giant automaton robot android, and that in fact, that little guy that we saw earlier is controlling him. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And so she uses her power to sort of hex the machinery behind all of this, destroying the Commissar and setting the people free with the truth of what was really happening to them. And now the team can go back home victorious.
Yeah.
Huzzah. And yes, it's strong arm communism. And yes, Hawkeye is very much an isolationist in this story. There's a couple of interesting lines he's got about how he feels about some of these things. Yes. So there you go. That's the story for the Avengers. And now let me get my side ready so that you can tell the story for the Justice League. Sorry. My iPad fell asleep. There we go. Here we are. I'm sorry. Yes.
So our splash page, essentially a recap of the cover. The Justice League has shrunk, and they need to contact the Atom. He's the only one who hasn't shrunk down to the size that they're at. So they're trying to get his attention, but they're so small. How are they going to do it? We start out the story with Snapper Carr, and get this, he has a girlfriend named Midge.
What?
And he's telling Midge that, the last 5 adventures the Justice League have been on, he has done nothing. And he's going through all his 60s slang and talking about it. And she's like, I got to go home. He's like, well, I got to get to a meeting anyway. And she's like, you're driving me home first. So he drops her off. He heads to the meeting, and he gets there and he doesn't see anyone there. And he's like, they left on another case without me. And he's like, I'm out in the cold again. There's nothing to do but pile up and sleep until they get back. But he hears a sound, and he says, my flappers are switching channels on me. I'm hearing things. It sounds like the Atom's voice, but where is he? And it's someone sounding like the Atom saying, we need your help, Snapper. And he's like, is this my imagination? Or do the JLA need my help? And Snapper, you've got to help us. And he's like in a bad way. The little men are talking to me just the same. I wish I knew what was happening to the Justice League right now. So we decide in the story we're going to flip back to before Snapper got there with the ringing of a telephone. Wonder Woman picks it up and the Atom comes through the telephone line. He is there to kick off their latest meeting. And he goes in this specially built chair that they built for him, size controlled chair. And as he shrinks down and lifts up in the chair, he comes back up and he's like, where are the Justice League? Are they playing some type of joke on me? Come out wherever you are. And what's happened is they've shrunk so tiny. He's tiny right now, but they're even so much tinier than him that he can't see that. And they're shocked at what's happened. And there on that last panel, you get almost our cover recap there where they're trying to get his attention to no avail. But the Justice League continues to shrink, and they are so small that they're tumbling together through eerie spaces between the normal and subatomic universes. Adam sees a little speck of green and red, and he thinks that's odd. And he's like, my uniform's tingling like it does when I test the shrink ray that I devised. He goes, maybe I should shrink down to that same size and follow that, and maybe that will give me some type of clue to what's happened to the Justice League. Then we kick off chapter number 2. Adam is shrunk down to that size, and he is going through the same area that they are. He sees them, and he's trying to catch up to them, and they realize that he sees them too. Then all of a sudden, they're between worlds, and they've stopped shrinking, but where are they? And it's announced to them that they are in the micro world of Starzul. And they wonder, who are you? We're the 3 protectors of this world. We brought you here so you could destroy us. They introduce themselves. Yes, we have the protector of the ground, the protector of the sea, and the protector of the stars. And they talk about their origin on Starzul, that they are androids that were on this scientifically advanced planet where there was a time of war and invaders from space and from the sea and from the land, so they needed someone that could defend them. So they built these robot android defenders and put these radiant ultrazones in their helmet. And these androids were very effective. They were able to stop any invaders. But the downside to that was that ultrazone that's in their helmet is shortening the lifespan and the generations of the members. As a matter of fact, it has shortened them so much so that they used to live 150 years, and now they can only live 40 years. So these defenders are telling the Justice League, we want you to kill us, but the problem is they will, if anyone starts to attack them, they will automatically defend themselves, and that's the problem. They can't be defeated. So that's the situation that they're in. And they're saying, to the Justice League, they're saying, you need to destroy us so Starzul doesn't become extinct, because they're becoming extinct because of us. So Justice League walk through the planet, and the citizens are begging for help, save our lives. And they start talking about this and decide the best bet is to break off into teams with Atom and Green Arrow in one team, Green Lantern and Wonder Woman and Superman in another, and Martian Manhunter and Aquaman and the Flash will take over. So up next, we start our first round of teams, and we have Batman, and he goes to attack. And once again, the android reminds him, you understand, I don't want to fight you back, don't you, Batman? But I have to because of the defensive mechanism inside of me. And Batman's timing's off. His attack doesn't work. The Atom's attack. Atom thought he had shrunk even so small that this android couldn't see him, but it wasn't true. He did see him. Green Arrow wasn't successful in what he was able to do to try to stop them. Everything is backfired. As we check in on the sea with the other team, the creature of the Starzilian is this aquatic monster, and Aquaman thinks that maybe he could use the monster to help, but his aquatic telepathy doesn't work, and it ends up turning against him. And as a matter of fact, this creature with its big tail flapping starts hitting a mountain down there and causing like an avalanche under the ocean. So Martian Manhunter starts to he thinks I'm going to hurl the protector into the stone wall so hard that, it will knock the mechanism out. That doesn't work either. The Flash is down there. He starts he starts going and creating an underwater whirlpool. He remembers how he did this in a previous adventure in his comic book, and it had worked, but this time it does not.
Hi, Christina.
Give me 1 second to give myself a big cough so I can keep going. Let me mute.
I did think it was interesting how the Avengers and the Justice League are having similar problems with performance issues this week.
So under the sea, it doesn't work. We cut up to the group that's up in the stars: Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Superman. And I think you know what's going to happen here. They tried their best with their weapons, with the ring, the willpower, the lasso, and nothing is working. And even though these creatures want the Justice League to succeed, it's because they're being attacked. They can't stop defending themselves, because in defending themselves, they're defending the planet. And they fall in error. And as they land back on Starzil, they're in a cage. And Superman can't even pull the cage apart. The rest of the Justice League come back and they are reunited. They all end up in the cage, and they're trying to break through, and no one's having any luck. Superman's like, if I couldn't do it, how could you do it? To Wonder Woman, you're only a woman. And Flash, your super speed is useless. And Green Lantern, your power ring will never work. And Batman's up and he's like, don't say I can't do it. Hold everything. Don't any of you say a word, not a single word about me not being able to do this. I want a chance at these bars while you remain silent. Keep silent at all costs. And that's the end of chapter 2. As we start chapter 3, he succeeded. And they're shocked. How? How did he do this?
He got prep. He had prep time. It was prep time. He had prep time.
Yes. Batman says, I noticed that just before each of you tried to bend those bars, someone told you that you couldn't do it. I thought, can it be possible on this strange world that what someone is told is believed to be true? So it doesn't have to be true, but if you're told it, it's believed it. And they're like, well, that's an interesting experience. Let's try this again. So Superman tries it again. He can't bust out the bars. So they realize they need someone that doesn't have knowledge of the circumstance they're in, and that would be Snapper Carr. So they're like, okay, we have to get Snapper back. And Superman even realizes that there's some kryptonite involved, which is one of the reasons why he couldn't bend that. So they're going to send Adam back to get Snapper. And that's where we kind of pick up to where the end of chapter 1 left off. And they tell Adam, make sure you don't tell Snapper what we've gone through. He can't subliminally know that it's not possible for him to do something. Because if he goes in thinking he can, he'll succeed. If he's told he can't, he won't be able to succeed. So Adam tells Snapper, only you can save us, but he doesn't really elaborate why. So Snapper's excited to get in on some of the action. And they've also caused him not to be able to hear once he's there. So when these androids start taunting him or with their boasts or whatever, Snapper can't hear that. So he's not going to be influenced by that. The androids don't know this. They start attacking again. And with some little backup help from the Justice League in different scenarios, Snapper is able to defeat all of these 3 androids that they needed to. And they're able to get those helmets off of them with that ultrazone. And in that case, they put it in a lead box. Under the ocean, Snapper's like, they're like, you just need to hold your breath for 1 minute. That's it, because we can handle the rest. And they're successful again, too. They defeat the water one and get that ultrazone off of him. Up in space, there's Snapper. And Snapper's being the man again, with a little help from the heroes. And he's guided by the lasso, and Superman is protecting him from some of the rays that are being thrown at him, and Snapper defeats. So they have accomplished their mission for the citizens on this planet. And the ultrazone is freed because that was what was shortening their lifespan. And Superman says, well, before we wrap up this mission, there's one thing that we have to do, and he says, as Snapper might say, It bugged me that I couldn't budge these bars. Now that Green Lantern eliminated that radiation, I can bend them with ease. They were no more bend proof than the protectors were invulnerable. So, because Superman believed he couldn't, that's why he couldn't open it. So, the planet thanks them, sends them back home, and increases their size. Snapper is back with Midge a few days later in the park in Happy Harbor. And she says, "Well, Snapper, you certainly look like the cat that swallowed some cream. How come?" And he's like, "I've been laying tread with the Justice League, Midge. They gave me an action-packed job on their last adventure." And she says, "Oh, that's wonderful. Did you really help them?" He said, "I sure did, in a small way." And that brings the end to our story.
So there you have it, friends. Justice League 18 and Avengers 18. I'm going to drop the line for you to vote. Let us know, now that we've recapped these books for you, which is the better story in your mind? Was that all a dream? Maybe,
no.
Fawn. Maybe. No, it was not a dream. It was just a psychedelic trip through the microcosm.
I looked up Midge.
Okay.
To see what I could find out about good old Midge.
Right.
And the first line of the first page I went on said, "Midge is Snapper Carr's long-suffering girlfriend." I thought, well, okay. I guess
described, accurate.
That's what comes with dating Snapper.
Right.
Yeah, Daddy-O.
Accurate.
So, the Avengers story, what did you think of it? And you guys can vote while John and I are just giving our thoughts on the stories.
I mean, I was quite taken aback by the Avengers story, and the Asian caricatures were really intense, and it was like it was like anti-communist propaganda as a comic. I was like, wow, I was not expecting this from a Marvel book at that time, because it's clearly like hey, the Vietnam War is really underway. This is the 60s, and how do we feel about this? And the Marvel team was taking a pretty strong stance on anti-communism and the need to go to another nation and fight. Like, this was prime Vietnam propaganda in some way. I was floored by that aspect. I don't know if you picked up or felt any of that, but I felt like it was almost not subtle. It was like obvious.
I guess I'm kind of used to that from books from this era, from reading some of that I see it in both companies.
Okay.
What I saw more, not really on that topic with the Avengers story though, it seems so much more cohesive. It's sometimes when we read these Avengers stories, we delve off we spend pages on stuff that doesn't even make sense, that doesn't tie in anywhere else. But everything really seemed thought out, and it had a place and it had a purpose. It seemed much more focused and on track than I've seen an Avengers story in a long time.
Yeah, it was clear. It was linear. It didn't jump around a lot. There were not a ton of different side quests, which we've had, like you said, lately a ton. This was everybody on the same page in the same quest, in the same journey at the same time. So that was definitely pleasant. And it was an easy read. It flowed very easily. It didn't feel like you were reading just a ton of exposition. Like, it flowed.
There's one thing in the Avengers story that I was like, wow, if I knew that, I did not remember that. And I mean, I like to think of myself as a good, big fan of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
But when she goes to the theater, she talks about how she always wanted to be an actress. And I never remember them talking about that.
Yeah, I don't recall that either.
So when I read that, I'm like, that's interesting. That's something they obviously abandoned, But because I don't remember, and you guys in the chat, if you're watching on the Rewind, drop us a comment. Has that thread ever been tugged at more? Has she mentioned that before? Maybe we'll find it in some future issues, but I did not remember that at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Or Quicksilver's infatuation with the circus. I didn't remember that either.
I was going to say the other side of that is I don't recall him ever being like a circus fan, circus goer. So that bit I didn't enjoy because it felt like it didn't have a payoff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what was the point of him and her wanting to go to different events and not going with each other, but buying tickets as if they would go together and then going in different things? What was the point? Because you don't really get to see much of Scarlet Witch's experience at the theater and what she saw. You just get the circus thing and Quicksilver's rescue of the trapeze artist. But why? Like, what was the function story wise to that plot line? I don't know if the point was to show that they are very different and that they have different in tastes. It would have been nice to kind of like split the pages, right? To give him a page or her a page and like show what they're, what they enjoy more versus the other. But it didn't come across as a comparison as much as it was a Quicksilver storyline.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
was there more you wanted to say about it?
Not in Avengers. I said we'll switch over Justice
League.
Yeah,
let's hear your thoughts on the Justice League.
I don't know. This one wasn't. It's not bad. It's not bad, but I don't know. It just didn't kind of grab me like some other ones had.
Yeah, I did think there were some odd choices as far as why they were shrinking down and what was going on, why this had to be a microcosm world, even though they're going into outer space and the bottom of the ocean. Like it didn't seem necessary to have some of that stuff. So that was a little interesting. It was hilarious to me how petty Superman is, that he's like, I got to go back and bend those bars. Like, this is driving me crazy. Yeah. That doesn't ring true for Superman to me. I do love that Batman gets a nice moment where he's like, let me bend the bars. You in the back row, hold your tongue. Yeah, I'm going to do this thing. You guys shut your mouth. I did like that little Batman moment. I thought that was really effective. And of course, Adam had some good moments as far as realizing what was happening and then going back out and bringing Snapper in. And then, Snapper raises some great points as far as like, he's been really sidelined in the last few issues and kind of, in one of them, he's just writing a story. He wasn't really active in any of the last few stories. So it makes sense that he would feel like, do they really need me? I mean, hey, Rick Jones isn't even in the Avengers issue. So he's even more sidelined, you could say. But it was interesting to see him feel that way. And then they brought him in very kind of comedic, funny sort of ways to defeat the villains. It was kind of entertaining that way.
Yeah. Did Snapper know that they were helping him, or did he think he was doing that? I mean, in some cases, he had to know they were helping because, like, Wonder Woman had her lasso around him. So he would have known that.
Yeah, he knew that they were helping him. He didn't know necessarily why it had to be him on the front lines, but he was happy to be a participant. And they had kind of told him that they needed him to complete the activities that they were doing, that they made it seem like he was a vital component. And let's face it, he was. And then, Green Lantern created earplugs, basically green earplugs to keep him from having to hear the truth that that was being spouted at him, right?
Yeah.
JP Font says, while not mind-blowing as well as overly agnostic, the Avengers had a tightly plotted story with a nice finish. Fair. Yeah, I can see that. Anybody can vote in the chat. So JP, if you have a preference on which book is the better story, you can definitely vote now. Anybody can. But I get the sense that, Ryan, you have chosen the book you like better for story.
I have, and it's Avengers.
Okay. And I'm with you on that one. I'm not saying that I love it, but it definitely worked better, plotted better, and gave characters moments in better ways, I feel like.
Once again, it's if I was going to reread only one of these two next, which one would I choose? I would choose the Avengers one because I just seem to get more enjoyment from that.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm in the same boat. There are definitely, I was hesitant because, again, the Asian caricatures are intense and I was not expecting them. And the, obviously there's some flag waving versus the, the anti-communist sentiments going on here. That was a little bit like being bludgeoned with the philosophies that were going on there. But I still think as a story, it was a more entertaining and more cohesive read. So
yeah,
it looks like we're all in agreement. So all three of us have come to the same understanding as far as the story is concerned. Are you ready to move into the interior artwork?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so we're now looking at how well these artists, Don Heck on Avengers and Mike Sikowski on Justice League of America, handled the story work, the interior artwork. Is there a book you want to start with first? Is there one you want to get into?
Let's do the Avengers.
Sure. I feel like some of the faces that Don Heck draws here are incredible. There's a couple of times he draws Quicksilver, and it's like, I've always thought Quicksilver was an odd looking character, but damn, he looks handsome in this. They really do it up for him in this. There were several moments I was like, wow, they really they gave him some good looks here. I can show a couple here for you. Where's the one I was thinking of first? Whoop. Towards the beginning. Yeah, this one. I mean, he almost looks like Magneto. You can almost see a young Magneto with that pink background. The hair. So there's several faces that he does like this. Inversely, obviously, there's the Asian caricatures going on here that are very intense as well. So the faces, I feel like, is one of the ways in which this book is strongest. So at different moments, you know, when they do those face close-ups, here's another one with Cap and Quicksilver together. Whoa. That works really well for me. So I did appreciate that. And occasionally we're getting those backgrounds with more detail. Here they are facing the commandant or commissant there. Oh, we got Mr. Gretzky in the chat. What is going on, Matt? Let me highlight you. And he just upped his channel membership as well. Let me play a little clip for him. Thank you, sir. How about my kids hitting each other?
No, well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold that game on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
There you go, Matt. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, sir. What are your thoughts here on what we're getting from Don Heck in issue 18?
First, let me say, nonetheless, that she's spinning and she knocks herself down.
Yes, I mean, yeah. My kids are not the most coordinated.
So yeah, I like the art. It's been improving more and more all the time. I chose, when it came to a favorite panel, usually what I like to do, I like to let the panel find me, which means that when I'm reading it, when I turn that page and get to that panel, all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, that's really good. I didn't have so much a big oh wow on the Avengers book. I usually do in each book each month. This one, I kind of had to go back and look for it. Now, that's not a slight saying that the art wasn't good. It's just that for whatever reason, everything was consistent, I guess, and there wasn't anything that was so much of a standout. But the one that I picked for my favorite panel is another one of those close-up expression ones that you didn't show. So this is my favorite panel.
Yeah. Yeah, he really nails. I'm going to say it's Quicksilver, but certainly all the faces can be really strong. But the Quicksilver face, it's really captivating. It's very magnetic. Ironic because his dad's Magneto.
You can tell that they're listening and thinking about what's being said at the same time. That both of that comes through in that panel.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah,
that's a great one. And if you go on that same page to the top, I don't know if it's possible to show the whole Avengers Assemble panel. That's my pick.
I like that one too.
It's technically 4 panels, but together with the words Avengers Assemble coming through on all their communicators, I turned the page and saw that, and it was like, a wow, that is cool. And I don't know that they've had an Avengers Assemble this dynamic in the first 18 issues. So this one really was strong. The finger of, Captain America pushing the button, and then you jump to the theater, you jump to the training session for Hawkeye, you jump to the
circus.
So kind of fun set of 4 panels across the top, like a little banner.
Yeah, that's good.
And again, a lot more detail when we get to the different, the countries. When we get to Sing Kong and we're out looking at the elaborate castle, when we're out looking at the city, there's a lot of detail in the background of the dungeon sequences. So they're giving us more of the backgrounds, which we had been a bit hard about in the early issues with Kirby, not necessarily creating a lot of depth, but maybe just doing one color in the background and being done with it. Yeah. So, Don Heck is as I'm reading this, doing this show with Ryan, like, I feel like I'm gaining a ton of respect for Don Heck, and maybe feeling like Kirby was overworked at the time when he was doing this, because I felt like he was rushing to get the work done versus Don Heck putting in top tier effort.
Well, Kirby, did the cover, and I just think that reducing that workload down for him was better because the covers got better.
And I'm obviously he was doing probably Fantastic Four at the same time. So he was probably doing several books a month trying to get these things out. There's just no way you can give anything your best effort in that scenario. All right, well, let's talk Justice League. What are your thoughts on Sikowski? Obviously, the term I feel like we're maybe using, which seems unfair, is it's consistent. Like he's a workhorse.
It is as good as it was in the first issue. It still is that good. I like that he gives our characters, like, there's not just one traditional pose that they fall into when they're doing something. And speaking of falling, like, that's a great panel. I'm not picking it as my favorite panel, but that is a great panel.
It is. And I do think the micro universe or the microcosm that they're in, plus the outer space, there's some really fun backgrounds going on here that I think are very entertaining.
Yeah. Now this one doesn't really have a background, but look at Adam sitting on his little micro chair. I mean, that's great,
It's great. The pose, the energy. Yeah. That's a great one.
I mean, and even above it, you look at the smiles on those characters above it. Flash and Green Lantern here. That's great.
Oh, for sure.
So
I feel like the difference for me is he's capturing a lot more movement and energy in his panels versus I feel like Don Heck is capturing expression and faces.
Yeah.
And so they're each bringing something different to their books, neither one being superior or whatever. I'm going to drop the start line. If you have looked at some of this art and you want to pick your favorites, you let us know which one you guys think is superior. I love this panel.
It's good.
When Wonder Woman and Hal Jordan are falling and Superman's going to have to try to catch them. The poses are really dynamic. The background with the storm is really effective. I love a good storm.
Yeah.
And Superman flying in to save them. I thought that was really exciting. Those panels really captured the details in a great way.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite panel, but there's a ton of really great action sequences going on here.
I'm going to show you my runner-up favorite panel.
Okay.
Because I had one for this one, and I think this is going to surprise you.
Okay.
I came so close to picking this panel as my favorite. It lost literally by a hair. The very last panel.
The very last panel with the pink. Yep.
I'm like, I almost picked that because I just like the goofy look on his face, know?
Yeah.
So, but what I ended up picking, I thought I had a different panel in mind for my favorite panel. And then as I was reading the story, I got to this panel and I went, nope, this is going to be the panel to try to beat. And believe it or not, there is no Wonder Woman in this panel.
What? I was getting ready for my runner-up.
The only thing that I think that looks weird on this panel is, and it's throughout the whole story, the Batman's emblem looks too small to me.
Yeah. It's kind of that era, though. He didn't have the like circle with the yellow.
Yeah.
Right.
That's too early yet. So we got
JLA.
we got Avengers.
We got two.
We got
I think he's saying Justice Friends is what he's picking.
Oh.
But you tell me, JP, if I'm reading it wrong. So
what are you picking?
I'm picking the Justice League. For me, I don't like that we're downplaying how consistent Sikowski is.
That isn't fair.
It's not fair. Yeah, we should be grading him in this book versus this other book, and I feel like there was a lot of dynamic energy here, and there were several moments that really caught me, and I was like, that was really cool. There was a lot of work being done to create the transition of size and then to do the outer space. So I was very impressed by how he made this. He elevated this story.
Yeah.
So
when you give a character an expression like this, you're going to get the art for the issue for me. It's Sikowski for me in Justice League.
Look, we're in agreement. And it sounds like, if we're reading JP correctly in the chat, the chat has been with us on each step of the way here. So that's exciting to see. Oh, he was mocking the cover, but he is picking JLA for interior anyway. So there you go. It worked either way.
Yeah,
it worked either way. Okay, so far 2 categories for Avengers, 1 for Justice League. That brings us to our last category before the overall vote, the tricky category of MVP. As a reminder, what we're looking for is a character who really carried the book or left this most significant impact in the Avengers book, and the one who does it for Justice League, and then those 2 going head to head to pick the ultimate champion. Last month it was Captain America. Let's jump into the Justice League book since we're there right now. Yeah. Is there a clear winner for you? Because I had 3 people in mind that I said in my head I wouldn't complain about any one of them, but I have one that I would.
Okay, so I came up my character pick. I thought, this is the character I'm going with, and I bet you I'm going to have to fight to get this one. Maybe I won't. But for Justice League, I'm picking Batman.
I'm picking Batman too.
Okay, then I don't have to fight.
No, you don't have to fight. Here's my logic. Because for me, I could see somebody arguing for Atom. I could see somebody arguing for Snapper.
Hi, Glenn.
And I can see someone arguing for Batman. So for me, all of those work. Hello. Checking in. You should check it in. Yes.
Yeah.
We're about to get to the big final vote. So
you're here just in time.
Because obviously Atom is the one that notices the problem when they're shrinking and then catches up with them. He's the one that has to go back out and get Snapper
True.
and bring him in. Snapper obviously saves the day. He's the one that is used as the tool. But for me, none of it works without Batman solving the mystery of what's wrong and then explaining how they can fix this and why they need to go get Snapper. So for me, the battle plan is Batman's, and that's why.
Absolutely, Batman. So okay, awesome. No fight on that.
Huzzah!
Now we'll see if we fight on Avengers.
Now let's deal with those commies, those red commies.
Yeah.
For me, there's one obvious choice here.
And I think there's 2 choices, but one I prefer. So you can go ahead.
I see this issue as obviously highlighting what Captain America's emotional state is, but for me, it's about the twins, right? It's about the kids. It's about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And for me, Scarlet Witch saves the day. Like, she's the one that recognizes that this is a robot. She's the one that disables it and saves the day. I know she gets captured, but it doesn't really seem to throw much of a hitch in her strategizing here. So for me, this is a Scarlet Witch victory.
Scarlet Witch was one of the 2 characters that I thought about. And when I had to narrow it down, I said it's absolutely Scarlet Witch.
Hey! Huzzah! Again!
Yes. So
we have the harder challenge.
Can I say one thing real quick here?
Oh, please. Yeah.
Just to put this in perspective, this is the first time Batman has ever been nominated as MVP.
Yeah. Well,
first time.
Fair. Batman and Superman were sidelined a lot in the early issues of this run, and really just like window dressing in a lot of ways.
Just remember, Aquaman has been nominated multiple times. This is Batman's first. But anyway, it's Batman versus Scarlet Witch, which is an interesting lineup.
It really is, you really have to look at like who carried the book better or who was more significant. Scarlet Witch obviously comes in strong at the end, and Batman comes in strong at the middle. But who had the better impact? Who had the bigger value to the story? I'm dropping the start line so that people can pick. Is it Batman or is it Scarlet Witch? Who do you think should be the MVP of this issue 18? Do you have any thoughts? Because obviously we both agreed on who should be the MVPs.
We did.
So had you considered one over the other at this point? Because neither of them have won in the past. This would be a first for either of them.
Correct. I don't know if I can fight through this, but I can tell you what my gut says to pick, okay?
Okay.
My gut says to pick Batman. Just because it's that idea that everyone else missed.
Sure. And I will say it's hard for me because obviously I want Scarlet Witch to get more prominent.
Oh, me too. I love Scarlet
I feel like
Witch.
the character is often given that women role of like, well, she's not going to do anything significant, kind of like the Wasp in a lot of ways up to now. And it's nice to flip that a little bit and give her the big Dorothy reveal, being able to kind of come to the rescue. But I agree with you that it's just one little moment, whereas Batman is playing a bigger role in some ways. I do also love that Batman is kind of showing up Superman. I can bend these bars, but Superman can't. There's something kind of fun about it. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. It's Batman. Okay. And the chat agrees as well. Batman is the MVP. So now we have two categories that is a somewhat divided issue tonight, issue 18.
It is.
So I'm gonna drop the overall vote link right now, or line, sorry, the start line. And so anybody who comments after that line, either Avengers or JLA, those votes count as to who is the big winner tonight. We are on the overall vote. Yeah, so big one. What Ryan and I decide right now could be a tiebreaker if the chat is undecided. But ultimately, this is the one that matters most for the chat. You guys decide which is the better comic, number 18. But let's hear it from you, Ryan. Which of these would you go back as if that's the biggest marker I feel like we use? Would you read again if you have these two books to read?
I've kind of answered that already, but I'll add something new into that. I can go to any issue of these Justice Leagues and get amazing Mike Sekowsky artwork.
Right.
So why do I need to go to this issue? Which the story to me was a little bit I wasn't as into as much.
Okay.
I will go Avengers on this for that purpose. Just because I can go to a Justice League book where I got an amazing story and amazing art.
Right.
So
and I can see kind of what you're saying. I would say the deciding factor for me is the story is better for the Avengers, as we agreed, and the artwork is neck and neck. Yeah. I gave a slight edge to Sekowsky, but the story, it's not close. It's not as close. And the cover, it's not as close. So for me, if those other categories are close, but Avengers is dominating in the primary category, it's really, it's not much of a contest. So I agree. Overall, sorry, that was loud right in the mic. Overall, I am going with Avengers as well. So if you need us to break the tie in the chat, we have chosen Avengers as a duo. So far, we got one vote for JLA in the chat. We got other folks in the chat who need to vote. Let us know which book you would pick. So anything coming up? I know, Ryan, you just dropped your comic book editions video. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And congrats again on hitting 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you. So I'll backtrack to Sunday night. On this past week's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, I had my friend from Brazil on. Andre came on. And Andre's a big Wonder Woman fan, and we did Wonder Woman because of Wonder Woman Day, which was yesterday.
Yep.
So we did a Bronze Age and a Copper Age Wonder Woman story, 2-part Bronze Age and 1-part Copper, and you can catch that on the Rewind. Monday, I did my back issue of the week, which is ahead of Wonder Woman Day, a Silver Age Wonder Woman. That's the very first appearance of Mouse Man. Mice have ears. Mouse Man knows.
Yep.
And then Tuesday, my comic book editions. Thanks, Glenn. Andre is awesome.
He's a cool dude. Yeah. And if you haven't seen the AOK videos that Ryan made when Andre came to visit him, what was that, 4 months ago, something like that?
No, that was almost a year ago in a couple weeks.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. So go back a little ways. Those videos are fantastic. Those are wonderful.
Thanks. Yeah. So Tuesday's comic book editions video for Wonder Woman Day, which was Tuesday. You can't vote for Young Blood, you crazy goose. Yeah. Wonder Woman Day was on Tuesday. So I did a Wonder Woman themed comic book editions. There are omnibuses, there are autographs, there's a foreign edition comic book, there are merchandise, there's page punchers, all sorts of stuff. So you want to check that out. And then last night, I hit my 1,000 subscriber.
Yeah, you did.
On Wonder Woman Day, which means the world to me that happened on that day.
Right.
Oh, chaos. Oh, chaos. And so what's coming is, of course, I'm in the beginning of planning a 1K party. I have to make sure that the subs stick and I don't lose some in the next, because that could happen.
Right.
The subs have to stick, and I'll start thinking about the background. I have some prizes for giveaway. I'm really happy with what I'm going to be giving away. I hope people enjoy it. So that announcement will be coming in the near future along with the date. And then this upcoming Sunday for the next Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, which is Sunday nights at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. J Hood Creative is back. He was just on last month. He's back to do Swamp Thing. We're doing some Swamp Things throughout the years. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then next week's back issue of the week is going to be my 200th. I have not missed a week since I've started. So that's over, that's 4 years worth. My 200th back issue of the week is next week, and it'll tie into Halloween with a Marvel title.
Nice.
So that's what's in the near future for my channel.
I'm working on it. I'll get around to it. Jeez. Yikes. Yeah, obviously for my channel, the biggest thing going on is comics curing cancer. I dropped a video Monday highlighting the packs I'm giving away, 3 different slabs, each with a whole set of great key comics and variant covers. So you can win a ton of stuff just by supporting the battle against cancer in the American Cancer Society. That'll be Saturday morning on my channel. You can hang out in the chat. You can donate $25, get on the wheel, or donate more than that, and you can get multiple entries on the wheel. And then awesome time hanging out and enjoying the giveaways. And we'll talk new comic book day stuff and hang out, but it'll all go to fighting cancer. So please be there for that. Tomorrow, my video is going to be unboxing 2 new pieces of original art in the collection.
Nice.
2 fun sketch covers. You can kind of see one peeking over my shoulder there. And if you watched last night for the first episode of Omni X-Men this season, I showcased the other one. But if you want to see both and the unboxing, that will be dropping tomorrow morning, so you can check that out. But yeah, the big thing this week is definitely comics curing cancer, not chaos and comics. So far we have a tied vote because JP Fawn picked Avengers and Seeking Superman picked JLA. So as of right now, we would be the tiebreaker if we do not get another vote pushing the one way or the other. But again, all the information for Comics Curing Cancer is out there. You can find it easily. In fact, my friend Chris the Comic Vet went live tonight and highlighted all the things happening this weekend and all the different channels, showcased a bunch of great stuff. I jumped in for a short segment and showed off the same slabs and stuff that I'm giving away so everybody could kind of see it. But it was a great live stream, and he had the link tree with all the videos so you can run through and bam, 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 hit all those notification bells. But it kicks off Friday morning on the Legion of Comics YouTube channel. So if you're available Friday and want to hang out in that chat, you can have one to the next. Each link will get dropped, and you can just keep going in all those live streams and enjoy the evening. I think it's about time to call this. You can demand all the recounts you want, but I think tie goes to the runner on this one, and the Avengers eke out a small victory here tonight. Is that good with you, Ryan?
It's good because I've already put them as the winner on my on my sheet, on my tab sheet.
Well, then we better get out of here quickly before chaos decides to reign in again.
Yes.
Huge thank you, Ryan, for hanging out. Congrats on hitting 1,000 subscribers. I look forward to the big party, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Details to come.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, and we will see you all again on Ryan's channel for issue 19.
Yeah, bye.